Yeah, well, 2 weeks ago we went to McKendree University in Lebanon, Illinois for the NCWWC Southwest Regional Championship. We had 13 girls qualify for the national championship this weekend. Marissa Gallegos won her weight class. Claire finished runner-up. And then we had 11 others finish in that top 5 category. So a lot of great wrestling for us. It was great to get to see McKendree for the first time this year. It's one of the first years where we've only wrestled McKendree one time, which was I think it was good and bad. There was positives in the sense that they hadn't seen us either, but then we also got to see them and kind of feel them out for the national championship, right? I think there's some matches that I'd like to get back, but we're going to get them back this weekend at the national championship. Finished second as a team, and that was, I think, a great, again, right? It shows how much we're growing as a program and continue to be a dominant in our region and nationally as well.
Looking ahead to the national tournament here this weekend, what's kind of give us just a brief outlook on what kind of to expect that tournament?
Yeah, so this is third year of that NCAA, if you will, NCAA National Championship for women's wrestling. Rankings and seeding came out this morning, and we're ranked 5th. So again, kind of where we've been ranked most of the year, which is right where I think we should be. Having Simon Fraser back in the mix is great. To see them back in as a top competitor for us to compete against. Marissa's seated second at her weight class. Claire's seated 4th in her weight class. I think we have 6 other girls ranked in the top 8, which is really exciting for us. I think we should be able to perform just like we always do going into the national championship. And I think every year we've been ranked 5th, 6th, and we show up and we perform really well and we finish in the top 4. And at the beginning of the year, we all said that our team goal was to finish in the top 3. I think we have the crew to do that this weekend. And it's more, again, we always talk about excellence, right? It's not about the outcome. As long as we are continuously to wrestle in the positions that we need to stay true to ourselves, I think we're going to do fantastic. We're going to have some great outcomes, and we're going to have the finish that we're looking for.
Marissa, for you, you're only a redshirt sophomore, but because you're kind of one of the older wrestlers on the team. What's something that you can provide to the younger wrestlers, someone like Claire, to know what's going to happen this week and kind of what to expect in moving forward?
I think the biggest thing is being ready mentally. I feel like you have to treat it like it's another tournament. You can't freeze up. You can't close off on your offense. You really just have to remember that this tournament doesn't define you, and especially if you're young, like this is your first nationals out of like 4 or 5 more. And I think really just going out there and letting it fly is the best thing that you can do. And what to expect, it's just another tournament. Like we went to that Iowa tournament, that bracket was huge. You had to win 5 to get to the finals, and you wrestle 6 times in the day. So this one's a little bit smaller in terms of people, and we've had the competition to prep us, so I think you're ready.
And Claire, for you, kind of what do you expect? What's something that, I know you didn't finish how you wanted to at the regional tournament, what's something that you've been working on moving into this national tournament?
While I didn't finish in the placing that I wanted to at the regional tournament, I actually performed pretty much how I wanted to. I ended up making a few slip-ups in the finals that were big slip-ups that ended up costing me the match, but it was actually very confidence-boosting how I wrestled in the finals going into it. And that has been instrumental in this past week preparation and just being relaxed going in and being able to feel confident in myself. It has been very supportive, and I felt so grateful for my team in this past week. They've been helping me through mental battles, physical battles, everything that I need to going into this tournament. So I feel very prepared now throughout this past week.
Questions?
Hey, Marissa, you've been, like Dave said, feels like it's, this is your 12th year. It's just been such a crazy last couple of years, but the success you've had and the national level, does it help you focus on the task at hand going in as all the competition you've had?
Yeah, I really feel like wrestling year-round has helped me just improve every time. I still feel like I'm a student of the sport, and I'm still going to continue to grow and learn in the sport. I don't think I'm anywhere near the best I can be yet. I train like I'm the best I can be, but I think all the tournaments and experience I've got to go to, camps and stuff, I'm just seeing, there's still so much for me to do in this sport. I have so much growing to do. And really what this weekend is about is me just putting it all out there of what I've been working on. And outcomes I can't always control, but I can control how I train for the tournament and how I perform. And I really feel ready to just let it all fly.
Travis, obviously, as this sport gets closer and closer to being an NCAA sport, you're seeing more and more programs. It's not just 3 or 4 teams now. To kind of help overall, knowing that we're getting to where we want to be.
Yeah, I mean, the growth of the sport has been tremendous. I think every year, the past 2-3 years, you've seen 5 to 6 NCAA teams add women's wrestling, whether it's going to be for the next year or, we're going to start in 2 years. But to have that growth, you're starting to really see some of that parity that you see at some of the other levels of the sport, or of different sports, right? Men's wrestling, basketball, football, right? There's that parity. There's always going to be a tough region. There's always going to be a tough group. There's always going to be a university that's the best in the nation, right? But that parity is growing, and that's allowing for this growth of the sport to continue the way that it is. I think when we started the program in 2018, there were maybe 12 NCAA programs total, and maybe that's a guess. And now we're at 50 some odd schools that have either started a program or have committed to starting a program in the next year or two. To see that growth has been fantastic, to be on the front side of that, especially here on the western side of the United States. The RMAC, Shadron added last year. I'm hoping that there's a couple more RMAC schools looking to add here in the next couple of years. But to be a leader in that as well has been fantastic. To see the growth, to see that we are knocking on the door of being an NCAA championship is great, because I think these girls here on our team, even the other schools, these girls deserve the same thing that the men's have, in the sense of that big arena, NCAA logos everywhere. I mean, they kind of got to see that this weekend with the regional tournament here for the men, and they get to see all of that, and it's like, man, we're this close. So it's exciting. I know that we're working diligently as a group to get to that point. So once we get there, I know it's going to just be a great moment for the sport.
They're going into nationals. I mean, you're all about firsts anyway. But for the young wrestlers, you just kind of rely on Marissa and some of the veterans to kind of get you over the nerves.
Definitely. Our coaches do a great job of that as well. And I have been able to talk to many of the freshmen as well, just because I have been able to perform in arenas before and wrestle at intense tournaments like this, where I'm able to talk to many of them and just share my experience as well. Even though I'm cripplingly nervous, I can help them be less so, and in turn help myself as they help me. Because even if someone's never wrestled at that high level, they still have so much wisdom to share about easing your nerves, because it's the same strategies for a big test as it is for a big tournament.
And any kind of experience you can have at any level, it goes a long way, obviously.
Exactly. And everyone's got their talent.
All right, question of the week.
You don't remember it?
If you won the lottery today, what would you do with the winnings?
I would invest it, and then I would also buy a house, and I'd buy my grandparents and mother a house.
That's a smart answer. I think
Claire's going to go with I'm going to just spend all of it at once.
I'm gonna go with the more fun route of I would immediately pay off the rest of my college and my sister's college and my brother's college. And they both want to go to cheap schools, so that would be helpful. And then the rest I would probably give to my dad, because he's definitely smarter than me with money, and see what he can do with it. Tell him he has to give it back to me at some point.
Same thing, save some, probably buy another house, and here in Grand Junction or Redlands or Fruita, somewhere where there's some land away from people. But I would spend a good chunk of it on a long vacation to some island where there's not very many people and there's a beach, and I can just sit there all day long.